From the 8-bit generation of Mario and Donkey Kong to present-day era of shooters and online role-playing games, the gaming industry has been evolving rapidly, being on the forefront of technology, with amazing graphics and new innovations. Today, with these new advances, we can see this growth is influencing our society, creating a larger gaming community, which has even spawned a professional league, but at the cost of increasing illicit materials in video games.
Stay cool, baby.
Contrary to popular belief, not all gamers are nerds. They are normal people who carry out social lives and use gaming as an enjoyable pastime.
When I first started playing, I was kind of hesitant because I always thought, play video games, you had to be a nerd, and I've never been much of a nerd.
I would consider myself a gamer, yes.
I would consider myself a weekend gamer. I don't really have much time during the week, but it's almost any chance I get, I really try to, get some good gaming time in.
I think my dad first got me started because he heard about the Nintendo 64 and he thought that would be a cool Christmas gift for me. So he went out and bought it, brought it home. I got hooked on it immediately.
Get some! Get some! Get some! Get some!
My main games that I play are probably Gears of War, Need for Speed, Carbon, Splinter Cell, Double Agent. That's a good game. Gran Turismo. Great game. I used to hate that game until I found out about rally driving. Ooh.
I was into the whole Madden series, most of the NBA games, all the Halos, I had all of them, and Grand Theft Auto.
In addition to gaming, many gamers participate in outdoor activities.
I played football freshman year. I did hockey for a while. I'm a big hockey guy. But other than that, it's just jiu-jitsu.
I play volleyball, I hang out with my friends, I read.
Another reason why video games are so popular is because of the memorable moments they can produce.
Yeah, baby.
God, we are
pros on the first day.
Probably my famous moments were my brother in the rank of the National SOCOM League was number 212 out of everybody in the world for SOCOM. So he was doing competitions and stuff like that. And I remember one day we were playing against him and I killed him 9 times and he got really pissed off. And that was probably one of the best moments in SOCOM history.
All right, so Madden tournament in my friend's house. This one kid's really good and never been beaten by any of us. Go over to his house, we start playing, and so I forced 5 fumbles on him, and I broke him down. It's kind of cool.
With this community growing more and more every day, gaming can be more than just a pastime, as well as a way to make a living. One of the most prominent hosts of professional tournaments is the MLG Pro Circuit.
MLG stands for Major League Gaming. It's a professional gaming league, and they host tournaments for Halo 2 and Super Smash Bros. Melee. The MLG event I attended was MLG Orlando in just this last summer. I went there with a team of 4 to play in the 4v4 in amateur bracket, and I also played in free-for-all. People really just come from all over the world to play there, and they host it at a venue next to a really nice hotel from my experience. There's hundreds of Xboxes and TVs set up in one gigantic room. Once the competition actually starts, competition goes in heats, and then there are several heats per round, and it's a double elimination bracket. So you're in the winner's bracket, you start off there, and if you keep on winning, you keep on staying in the winner's bracket, but if you lose, you go to a loser's bracket where you play against other losers. If you lose in that bracket, then you're just out of the tournament. The cash prizes in general are pretty big. For the first place pro team, it's $20,000 in the tournament that I played in, but in the national championship, it's $50,000. MLG has recently signed contracts to best team called Final Boss. So they got signed to $1 million contract just for playing in MLG tournaments. And then they've signed a $250,000 contract with T-Squared, but you need pure skill to just be good in the first place. Just communication, teamwork. You have to be like smart also, obviously. You can't just do dumb crap when you're playing, like running out in the middle of nowhere. You have to be smart about your play.
Along with this new era in gaming and newfound professionalism comes a turn towards a more violent society. Many believe that these games heavily influence the youth of our nation, creating a more dangerous world in which we live in.
You know, in a way, it's almost kind of nice, because if I had to sit there and play Kirby all day, I would lose my mind. And, you know, when you get frustrated throughout the day, you can come home and you can kill about 15, 20 people. It makes you feel pretty good. But I would never think of doing it in real life, and I would never really push it to that extreme. But it's the same principle as if we got rid of guns. People have been killing people since the dawn of time. They would just use their bare hands. You know, you're gonna kill somebody, you're gonna kill somebody. Games don't have an influence on that.
I think that at a certain point, you've got to draw a line. I don't think it's right for little kids to be playing like shoot 'em video games like Grand Theft Auto. I don't think it's right for 10, 11-year-olds to be playing Grand Theft Auto at all. I think you need to put like an age limit on it and establish ground rules and whatnot.
In addition to being violent, gaming can also become very addicting, alluring many to become so enthralled with the game's characters, massive world maps, and never-ending storylines. It makes some gamers feel as if they can never leave this virtual world. This is most visible in the massive multiplayer online role-playing game, World of Warcraft.
Man, I have heard some things about World of Warcraft. I've heard people get addicted to it. I've heard World of Warcraft to me is not something I would ever touch, because I've heard it's like heroin and stuff. Like, once kids start doing it, they don't stop. Like, I know kids who've done it for, I think, 14 hours a day, and they were just addicted to it. They would not come out of the house and all of that stuff. And a friend of mine recently sold his 2 accounts on World of Warcraft, and he sold them for like $2,000 a piece. And it kind of blows your mind to think that people would pay that much for something that's not like tangible.
The view of video games has drastically changed from the dawn of the NES to the massive online worlds of today's online gaming. With the progression of video games and consoles, large gaming communities have developed, leading to professional leagues, but what goes up must come down. With the new amazing graphics of today's consoles, there is a price of increasing realistic violence, and this realism becoming more and more addictive with every new breakthrough in gaming technology.
And I realized, you know, everybody plays games. It's something just to do in your spare time.
No expression, no expression. Yeah, boy. I wanna drown my sorrow. No.
It's like I'm blind. It's like, you're blind, dude. Shoot over here, blade. It's hard.
I like to shoot things.
I don't really want to chainsaw anybody. I'm not that kind of violent person.
Well, and you just keep dying and dying and dying and dying.
I'm sad. Is everybody getting this? I'm very sad.
So I'm pretty confident that the next step is going to be basically the Matrix.
Yeah, boy! Yeah!